Munster Final.
All that won an All-Ireland against Wexford for Cork way back in 1954. There's Shawnee Leary on the right. Shawnee, who will be in the corner. Shawnee, who last year carried a very suspect...
We had a puck around out on the pitch, and Shawnee Leary badly broke his nose. He didn't need an X-ray to see it was halfway across his face, and he was pouring blood. And I took him into the dressing room to try and patch him up. And Christy Ring came in with me.
Ringy eventually stopped it anyway. He got some cotton wool and just stuffed it up my nose. And come on, he says, there's a hurling match on. He says, it isn't with the nose you're playing at all, he says to me.
Dennis McCurtain. And the ball got a little bit out the far side, but not as far as he would like by Dean Bennett. This is Jimmy Barry Murphy. High, and the lead for Cork by Jimmy Barry Murphy. So it is Shawnee Leary coming across. Kenny O'Connor is after him. It's a good one. Oh, a grand goal. Maybe Shawnee should get a knock on the nose before every game. He certainly has shown his worth here. His second point of the game. Cork 6 points, Wexford 2. There's Mick Malone, who's gone in top of the right, on Jim Prendergast standing beside him as he was there a moment ago. Tom Cashman. Ray Cummins, Gerald McCarthy. And Gerald sends it over for the lead for Cork again, his second point of the game. And Willie Murphy going out now. Remember the score now, 12 points for Cork, 11 for Wexford, 1 point between them. Deflected in by Gerald McCarthy, and this is Ray Cummins. Now there are 2 points between them. Look out. Dave Burney, who's gone back into the half-back line, it would appear, but the ball going out to Gerald McCarthy. This is Shawnee Leary, and it's a goal! A goal for Cork and Shawnee Leary! Without his hurling, let me mention. On the Wexford team is Jack Russell. Going off the Wexford team on the far side of the field is Jim Prendergast. Jack Russell for Jim Prendergast. From the puck out, the ball comes to Gerald McCarthy. To Charlie McCarthy. Jack Russell is after him. But there goes Charlie. And another point for Charlie, another point for Cork. What a great game he's having. He's had 3 All-Ireland medals already, and he's doing his bit to make it a 4th. As Cork lead now by an amazing 7 points. Ed Buggy blasted one a few minutes ago. Dave Burney has gone off the Wexford team. And it's saved, but they're in. It's a goal! It's a goal! And it's finished with the net. I would say by Martin Quigley. They came in on top of that ball as it bounded at either Martin Quigley or Mick Butler. Between them it was. They came in after that ball, and now they're only 5 points between them again.
In 76, right from the off, we seemed to be sharp and on our game, and sort of carrying the game to Cork. In 70 and in 77, it was the direct opposite. That we seemed to be very sluggish. It was I remember a bad, dreary old day, but we were very sluggish. Struggled just to stay in touch all along. At one stage, I think in the second half, Cork would have went 7 or 8 points clear of us and looked to be coasting home. And somehow in the last 10-15 minutes, at the stage that we went completely out of the game in 76, we seemed to take over in 77 and had Cork a bit on the back foot at that stage. And I remember it was only a great save from Martin Coleman, made from Christy Ring, just shortly before the final whistle, that they kept Cork in front.
I can remember the last kind of 10 minutes or so when we were really up against it, Wexford going hammer and tongs at us, and I can remember being well ahead at one stage of the second half, and then found ourselves, I think, a couple of points ahead with maybe 5 or 10 minutes to go, and Martin Coleman saving what was a certain goal really, and you know, maybe if they had got that goal we'd have found it difficult to go on and win it, but Martin saved, fantastic save really, and we went on to win it then.
Dennis Collin back again, across into the centre, Mick Jacob. In it goes to Christy Ring, a shot and a great save by Martin Coleman. Oh, what a great save! A save and a place clearance that came out to John Horgan. Oh, the save that kingdoms are made of. And here come Wexford again. Comes out to Martin quickly. Martin's got it 30 yards out. He's on the ground and there's a free. A free for Wexford, 30 yards out, dead straight in front of the goal. There's only one thing he can do, and that is try for a goal. The Wexford players asking the referee how much time is taken. And it's Ned Buggy standing way back. He's going to run up and try blasting. Here he goes. And it is deflected out for a 70. And it's gone off John Horgan's stick out over the line for a 70. Well, this game might have been disappointing for so long, but by heavens, it's wound up in a climax. The referee, I think, had told the Wexford man that that was the last stroke of the game, but it is a 70, and he must play on until that 70 is taken, and that 70 must go into the goal if Wexford are to live and fight another day. Willie Murphy coming up to take it. 20 points to 17. The Cork crowd whistling away there, urging the referee to blow the final whistle. And there he is, Willie Murphy, bending, lifting, striking, lobbing into the goal mouth. The ball tipped out a little bit, pulled on, and again. And it's got out by Tom Cashman, and the game is over. And Cork have won their 23rd All-Ireland title.
Cork will produce good hurlers. And after all, they can only play 15 on a county team. It's a part of life in Cork hurling, and I have no doubt that a second team could be picked, and if it was trained and given time, that, you know, it could be better than several other counties that would be hoping to win the All-Ireland. So that, you know, there is confidence in Cork, because you could go to a match this evening. The thing about Cork hurling is that if you could go to a match this evening, you could be a star in Thurles yesterday, and you could go to an intermediate match this evening or the following day, and you could get a person that wouldn't be on a county team. It'd beat you off the field in hurling, and that has happened to me on occasions.
The goals that we were probably looking for, that we thought we might get, but they got great points to make up for it, you know, and it really kind of kept us back.
Greater interest than ever was generated by the 78 Munster Final meeting of Cork and Clare. Cork were looking for their third Munster Final in a row, while Clare were looking even stronger this year after their second league final win in a row over Kilkenny.
John Horgan. And there it is, the very first point of the 1978 Munster Final. It took Cork all of 9 minutes to get the first score. It came from John Horgan. Clare not showing any of the teamwork that we'd seen so often in the National League campaign, not just of the season gone by, but the previous one as well. John Horgan, Tom Cashman, one of the brighter stars in show, and that's a beautiful point from Tom Cashman. Tom Cashman dominating midfield in the first 20 minutes and picking off a very good point just then.
Their supporters, I suppose, was the first thing that would stand out, because you know, we talk about the Clare roar now, but in both those Munster finals they had a fantastic support. In particular 78, there was a gale force wind there, and we played with the wind in the first half. I think we were only just 2 points up, and the support that the crowd gave to Clare coming off was unbelievable. But we held on in the second half to win by, I think, 2 points.
There were thousands. In the 78 Munster Final, there was 52,000 people in Thurles. I mean, there was a lockout. It was the day that all the money was stolen, by the way. That, and I don't know, I don't think they ever got it. But there was 52,000 people. Incidentally, we went in as favourites against the All-Ireland champions for that Munster Final. Went in at half-time with a point down, playing against a slight wind. And but we didn't rise. It was 13 points to 11. We didn't lift it, and neither did Cork. But I mean, I suppose we didn't get it, and that was it.
And still Clare can't get into this game. Tom Cashman, he's one of the reasons why they can't. Johnny McMahon. Eamon O'Donoghue. For Ray Cummins. The race is on again between Cummins and Parr. Cummins. That would be a great point from that angle, and it is. Pat Moylan. Knocked out by Jim Parr, but Charlie McCarthy now. Sean Heher and Tim Crowley. Ray Cummins to Tim Crowley. Tim Crowley so involved in the last few minutes. And that's a very good point by Tim Crowley. All the effort was worth it then as he picked off that point, and now it's the turn of the Cork supporters to put red flags waving. Tom Cashman. For Ray Cummins. Cork still trying to open up the play as Ray Cummins picks off a glorious point there, just getting away from Jim Parr. Tim Crowley. And Seamus Durack with a brave effort, going right out into the middle of the field. And Gerlach Nan with a mighty point, but surely that's too late.
The match got more and more intense and more frustrating as the match went on, you know, and I know from my own point of view, I will say I'd have got a lot of flack since about John Horgan scoring 4 points from frees, you know, but you know, there was nothing I could do about it. You can't hook him hitting a free.
But I'd been injured in a previous football game, and I was taken off in that 78 final. Shawnee wasn't playing in the 78 final. Shawnee was injured for some reason, and there was another player, I know it would have been Brian Murphy. So, like, we were missing 2 forwards and we were missing a back, and we were lucky to come through. We failed to score a goal, I think, on that Munster final. So that, not again taking from Clare, but I think we didn't have our best team playing on that occasion.
In any emerging team, or any team that's developing, there comes a time when you have to make the breakthrough. And a defining day comes when, if you don't make the breakthrough, the team is going to disintegrate. And that happened in 1978 with Clare. When Clare didn't make the breakthrough in 1978, the show was over. Nobody said it, but most players knew it. I knew it myself coming off Thurles that day, that the show was over. We'd never be as good as that again, and not being as good as that again, we wouldn't win again.
Again, the emptiness of the dressing room coming in after 78 was awful. But 78 would never have happened if we won 77, because no matter how good Cork were in that era, right, if we won 77, the barrier was broken, and we would, in my firmly believe, Cork would have posed no problem for us in 78. We would never have frozen as we did. We'd have driven on, because the same thing happened in 77 in the league, 76, 77, right. We beat Kilkenny reasonably well in the final, but we were holding on for dear life. Like Joe Hennessy drove a ball right by the upright in the last minute of the game, right. We comfortably beat Kilkenny in the league final in 78, comfortably.
Although going for 3 in a row, it was the challenge of meeting Kilkenny in the 1978 final that Cork most look forward to.
Matt Booth and Brian Murphy. Oh, lovely recovery there by Matt, and a nice ball. Dennis Paul and fielding at the goal now. The ball is in the net. It's a goal. It's a goal by Chucky O'Brien. A goal by Chucky O'Brien. Here it is again. Here it goes in. No, it wasn't Chucky. In fact, it was Kevin Fennelly who finished it. Mick Brennan tripped by his own man there. John Crowley, Tim Crowley, they're both Crowleys, but they're not related. And Tim shot. Oh, a lovely point there. A lovely point there, scored by Tim Crowley after a Crowley combination in their own half. Johnny Leary trying to get it up. The with the Kilkenny substitution in a moment. Ball comes back out to Gerald McCarthy. Gerald sends it and sends it over. And Cork now lead by 3 points. One of the greats of Kilkenny, Pat Henderson. Pat Henderson got in, pulled back, and going off is Chunky O'Brien. His back, Pat Henderson, not full back, but centre half back. Long ball in towards the goal. Hands going out to him. Jimmy Barry Murphy with the shot that's low, and it's the goal! Jimmy Barry Murphy, the scorer of the goal that can win it all Ireland. There it is, Jimmy Barry out of the wing. He takes his shot low, that thumping ball in front of the goalkeeper. It foiled the defence. Dick O'Hara may have taken the eye line of the goalkeeper, Noel Steen. Whatever happened, there's the joy man of the day. Down the field it comes. Eamon O'Donoghue, but Paddy Prendergast is back there. Charlie McCarthy is back there. Clearance comes out to Jimmy Barry Murphy. Ray Cummins leaves it to Gerald McCarthy, who's going to get it anyway, I bet, from Ray Cummins. No, Charlie McCarthy gets it. And Charlie shot it high and over the bar. Well, I make it 35, almost 36 minutes gone. Cork, although the whistle hasn't gone, are the champions. They must be the champions. Their bench waiting to run in to cheer and cheer them. The referee running for the goal, and Cork were the All-Ireland champions.
In Cork or in Kilkenny, defeat of 3 in a row wouldn't have been as readily acknowledged if we hadn't included Kilkenny in our list of defeats in the 3 in a row, and I think when we did that, it finally was the icing on the cake for that team.
Martin Doherty was a fullback playing with Cork against us. Things didn't go great, I'd say, for myself on the day. I didn't have a particularly good game, and I'd say Kilkenny as a team didn't play very well either. And I'd say neither did Cork really. It wasn't a very good game. It was a scrappy enough game. The deciding score came, I suppose, maybe 10 minutes or so before the end. Barry got, it was kind of a scramble, kind of a goal, but you know, obviously all Irons are there to be won or to be lost, and Cork won their, actually it was a 3 in a row. They completed the 3 in a row that day, which was, I suppose, a great sort of an ending to a very, very good team.
I'd like to pay tribute to a great Kilkenny team who play their usual sporting game, and I'm sure it won't be long before they'll be back in Croke Park again to contest another All-Ireland final.
Christy Ring, one of the greats. Christy, how'd you feel about that? Christy, what did you feel like being a selector watching that final?
Not bad at all. That's what we're there for. We started it out anyway.
Well, from the very minute he died, we knew that Christy was an awful loss.
And bigger than the funerals of Terence McSweeney and Tomás McCurtain during the Troubles. The coffin was draped in the colours of Glen Rovers and the GAA, and it took over 3 hours for the cortege to make the 20-mile journey from Cork City to Christy Ring's native parish of Cloyne.
As long as young men will match their hurling skills against each other on Ireland's green fields, as long as young boys swing their commands of the sheer thrill of the feel and the tingle in their fingers of the impact of ash on leather, as long as hurling is played, the story of Christy Ring will be told, and that will be forever.
He always played with a very heavy hurler, and look at the way he used it, as if it was matchwood, because of his strength.
He was a one-off, like, you know, you could compare him with Pele in the soccer or whatever, like, you know, you pick the best of any other game, like, you know, Ring was there with him.
Jim Barry and Christy comes in, you see, the table, and Jesus Christy, I says, you know what, I said, we'll have to shoot you. And Jesus Mickey says, so you tried everything else, he said.
In 1954, when we were playing against Leinster, the attendance that day were over 49,000 people. And I have to mention it, of course, that when Ring retired, it went down to 600.
Ring had great interest in schooling and education and all that,
And any time you're travelling, he'd spend his time inquiring about courses and so on, what fellas should be doing and what they should be going on to.
You'll be listening to me Hala here commentating and the game, you know, and Cork are behind by 3 or 4 points. You'll be saying, that's okay, Christy Ring is going to get the ball, he's going to bang in 2 or 3 goals, you know.
When I was a young lad growing up and as a player then, he was everything that epitomised Cork hurling, and he was the one instantly recognisable figure over a period of 30 years for Cork people.
There was a sort of a non-belief that the man could dive, and you know that's the awe he was held in. Like, my God, we expected Christy to be around forever, really, you know.
Christy Ring would have won more because he was a beautiful hurler, and I mean everybody, they all went out to try and stop him instead of hurling him. So I say that John wouldn't have won, but I'm not running down John now. He was a fine man, a fine hurler, lovely hurler. But that type of hurling today would suit the likes of Ring, you know, with his skill.
John Horgan was captain that year and he got badly split during the match, and I remember stitching him up afterwards, and we all knew in the dressing room this was the end of the road for the team as such. I remember he was crying as I was stitching him, I was crying, the whole dressing room was crying. It was a very emotional occasion.
If you win, everybody's a hero and you've planned this and planned that, but when you lose, then you learn more, so in the game.
Cork were beaten by Galway in the 79 semi-final, but reached the 1980 league final the following spring.
Towards John Flanagan, ball about to be beaten out by Brian Murphy. Brian losing the ball, dangerously taking it out of defence as far as Brian Carroll for Limerick. Limerick back on the attack once again. That's Eamon Cregan, that's a great goal! That's a great goal! Timmy Murphy's puck out, dropping in the centre of the field between Mossy Carroll and Pat Horgan. This is Pat Horgan for Cork. Putting Pat Cork back on the attack once again. Breaking for Danny Buckley. Great shot! Great save! Goal! It was Eamon O'Donoghue who eventually finished it to the back of the net. I think it hit the post the first time, came back off the post to Eamon O'Donoghue, and he flashed it past the goalkeeper. This is Pat Horgan for Cork, standing about 70 metres out from the Limerick goal. Restarting the Cork attack once more. It's goal-to-goal stuff. That's Ray Commons looking for the ball. The referee has spotted an infringement and awards a free in to Cork from right in front of the goal, just about 20 metres out. So John Fenton with this semi-penalty for Cork. An opportunity to reduce Limerick's lead with just 9 minutes of the first half remaining. John Fenton, here he comes. Goal! Great goal! Liam O'Donoghue going to take the cut in for Cork, right into the Cork defence. Joe McKenna, what a goal! It's all goals in this match. Joe McKenna has scored for Limerick. Limerick are back in front. Limerick 3 goals and 4 points. Cork 3 goals and 2. What a match! That's Pat Horgan reaching up for it, and he's still going through. Still Pat Horgan. Over the bar from Pat Horgan, the Cork number 11. Beautiful cut once again. That's a marvellous point. That is a marvellous point from John Fenton. So Cork are in front 3-10 to Limerick's 4-6. The point scored from a sideline cut by John Fenton. Quick buck out taken by Tommy Quaid. Once again, Dermot McCurtain, determination written all over his play, coming forward, and Cork now seem to have the legs of the Limerick men. Towards Eamon O'Donoghue. Another point. Eamon O'Donoghue, the scorer. Clenched fist and all. Tom Cashman, who has played a great game, and what for him is an unaccustomed position of centre half back. High ball, sun in their eyes. Ray Commons reaching up for it. That surely must be it. A goal by Ray Commons.
15 players just line up in the middle of the field, right? And the referee that he come along, started the captain, this team, and he'd count him, you see. I suppose it was the idea of counting, you know. And he came down along the Leinster team, Kilkenny selection. And he came down, and then up the other team. And he came up along John Maher now, he was beside Mackie was at the end. And when he left his hand on Mackie's shoulder, Mackie says, "Ah, for feck's sake, ref," he says, "throw in the feckin' ball," he says, "and then keep out of the way."
Cork hurling always had a ready supply of young hurlers from Farron Ferris and the North Monastery second level schools.
Yeah, we're standing outside the AG of the North Mon, which is the Gael Colosh. Then, of course, both students from the Gael Colosh and the main school play together. And I suppose from earliest times, Fox Collins, I suppose, won a Harty Cup in 1919 and would have been a stalwart of Cork in the late 20s and 30s. And moving on then to the famous 4-in-a-row team of the 40s, Colin Murphy, of course, and Mick Kennefick, one of the captains of that team as well. Jack Lynch, of course, and the Buckleys from Glen Rovers. Many players from the North Mon graced the Cork teams in the 40s as well as the 50s. They had some of the top players, Vincey Toomey and other Glen players as well. And moving right into modern day times with Sean O'Halpine. Well, I think it's a very proud thing really for the North Mon school that in the 90s, 1990, the double year, Tomás Mulcahy, who's a past pupil of the AG here, the Gael Colosh in the Mon, captained the team, and Tom Cashman in '86. So I think they were very proud moments for the school. And moving back to the 3-in-a-row team as well, of course, you had Dennis Collin and Tom Cashman, past pupils of the school, playing in those teams.
I always found that the fella from West Cork that came into Fanna was like, he was like a block of granite, and you moulded him out of that, and he went through the bloody wall field, you know, he really went through the wall field. And they never forgot where they came from, and so they had no swelled heads. They huddled all the time. The huddling, you gave it your all, and when it came to study time, and you had been doing your bit of work all during the year, and we looked after that too in a big way. They had to work as well. I mean, we were trying to form the whole man. The difference between then and now is that they live for it, absolutely live for it. And if we tell a fellow there your left hand is weak, and he'd go off and he'd do it himself, just show him how to do it.
The league finalists, Cork and Limerick, met again in the 1980 Munster Final.
Cleared away again, Joe McKenna here. This is Jimmy Carroll for Limerick. That's a good shot. It breaks away from the goalkeeper.